WDSU.
And we will ensure you that the person responsible will be held accountable.
It is a tragedy that has rocked our community. 3 children under the age of 10 killed in a house fire in New Orleans East.
The children's father, Joseph Washington, is now charged with setting the fire and leaving the children inside before driving off.
Now we have team coverage on this arrest, the history of domestic abuse, and the desperate call the mother made trying to get help. We begin with WDSU reporter Shay O'Connor live at the scene where a memorial is growing. Family members are sharing their grief and neighbors are now reacting with shock and sadness about the event.
All right, Shay is live on the scene with more about what they are saying. Shay.
Good evening to Eugenia and Sala. Yeah, community members already rallying in support, and family members are actually here on scene right now, placing flowers and candles at the home where the 3 kids were killed. They tell me they are absolutely devastated at this time. I'm also hearing that the mother of these 3 kids loved them unconditionally.
Once I hit the end of my hall, you could just see the house engulfed in flames. And all I could think about is where are the kids?
This neighbor was too shaken up to be seen on camera, but says she was present with the mother of the 3 kids as firefighters worked to get the children out of the home here along America Street.
There's 3 babies in that house, and they brought one child out, the oldest, and handed him to my husband. And he brought him to the lawn, and then they handed him a second child, and he brought him to the lawn, and we just kept screaming, there's still another baby in there.
Officials say the first 2 kids, a 5-year-old girl and 8-year-old boy, unfortunately died at a hospital. Eventually, the 3-year-old was recovered from the home. He was pronounced dead on scene. NOPD says the mother of the 3 kids called a little before midnight frantic, alerting them that their father, identified as Joseph Washington, had made threats that he would burn down the house with the kids inside. This surveillance video captures the moments Washington appears to have walked from the house with it still on fire. Washington's father was seen at the home just hours after the fire, trying to salvage pictures of his 3 grandchildren before pleading for his own son to turn himself in.
Joseph, turn yourself in. That's what you best do. Turn yourself in, Joseph. And that ain't no lie. Turn yourself in.
This man says he did yard work for the couple Tuesday afternoon, and Washington showed no signs of frustration at the time.
Once I knocked on the door, he came to the door, called her, and she came to the door. We spoke, and everything was calm, cool, and collective. I mean, there were no indications that something like this would go on.
Seeing the house is sad. It shows what some of these kids are dealing with, at home.
Joseph Washington is now charged in this crime, but neighbors say this is a day they'll never forget.
We've seen these kids for their entire lives, and we have to sit here and look at their house and know they lost their lives over there. They was just innocent kids. They were babies. They were just happy kids. And it's just a tragedy that our whole community has to deal with.
Now we're told the 2 oldest children attended Camp Moriel. The Orleans Parish School Board released this statement there on your screen that says, this morning was a hard one again for the city of New Orleans. Please take a moment and pray for the children killed, their family, and their school community. I'm also told that there have been several reports of domestic abuse here at the home. It had gotten so bad that neighbors in this area knew that if they saw the lights flickering at the home to call the police on the mom's behalf. Reporting live from New Orleans, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.
There is a community march going on right now on St. Philip Street in honor of the 3 victims in this crime.
WDSU reporter Eli Brand is on the scene and has more on how police were able to capture the suspect here. Eli.
Yes, so Legina, let me step out so you can see the people gathering here for this march. You can see quite a few people gathering here, setting the backdrop for this devastating day here in the city of New Orleans. They're marching against domestic violence in the city on the same day. 3 children apparently killed in an alleged domestic violence incident. Police gave an update a couple of hours ago now about exactly how they caught up to Washington and caught him. They say he was arrested around 11:40, and he's facing a lot of charges: 3 counts of second-degree murder, 3 counts of cruelty to a juvenile, 1 count of aggravated arson. Police did add that those murder charges could be upgraded to first degree later on if the district attorney agrees to it. Police also detailed what led up to Washington's arrest. They say his car earlier this morning was found in the Mississippi River in Gretna near the ferry terminal. You can see it on your screen, partially submerged in the river. He was not in it, though. They say later in the morning, the NOPD Violent Offender Squad, they got information about where Washington was and that he was in another car. They eventually caught up to him in the Gentilly area on I-610 near Elysian Fields. They say he was on the on-ramp to get onto I-610. They say he jumped off to try and get away at that location, but injured himself. Washington was then taken to UMC for treatment. We saw multiple police there this morning around the time that he was transported there. And we also spoke with one of the deputy superintendents about what led to this.
There is a history of domestic violence there. I'm not sure if all incidents were at that exact address. Like I said, we have all that information and it's still under review.
We also spoke to the fire chief today. He described to us the scene his firefighters went into, saying it was devastating for them to see what they saw. Back to you guys.
All right, Eli, thank you for that report. And WDSU investigative reporter Cassie Sherm is live in the studio now with a closer look at the suspect's history of domestic abuse, according to documents.
That's right. We just got new information that 9 days ago, NOPD had showed up to that home after the mother of the children called 911 saying her ex-husband, Joseph Washington, was threatening her life.
911 was the location of emergency. It's 4911 America Street, New Orleans, Louisiana.
This call was made October 9th, 9 days before police believe Joseph Washington set the fire to their home, killing the 3 children.
We have a past history of domestic violence, but he's like sending me threats saying if I come back to the house and my kids are still there, and he's saying that he will leave them in the house, and he's telling me not to come back to the house. If I come back to the house, he's going to kill me.
Here's what we've uncovered so far. Joseph Washington has a lengthy history of abuse. That started in 2015 with his then wife and mother of the 3 children. Washington was convicted of domestic abuse and battery at least twice in 2016 and was arrested on the same charges in 2018. In 2018, the mother filed for a restraining order against Washington, claiming he repeatedly hit and choked her and often attacked her while she was holding the children. In that document, the mother wrote, quote, Joseph said, quote, "Who should I kill first, you or the kids? Then he started to choke me, push me back against the wall after he threw me on the floor while the baby was in my hands and repeated to choke me. He dragged me to the back to look for his gun, and when he couldn't find it, he said, quote, I don't need a gun to kill you. I made an escape to the front of the door to scream for help. The mail lady called the police." In the divorce filing a year later, it states that after the mother got out free, the kids were still inside, stating, quote, the defendant Washington then yelled out to the petitioner, the mother, that he will set the house on fire. The defendant then turned the stove on, causing the smoke to fill the house by the time police arrived. He was then arrested when police arrived. The judge then granted the divorce and gave the mother full custody. Now, we've put in multiple public records requests to see if NOPD had been called to that same house earlier this year. And WDSU Investigates also took a closer look at emergency response times from this morning. I'm going to send it over to Aubrey Killian for those details.
Hey, Cassie, so let me walk you through the exact time that call came in. According to OPCD, take a look. That first call, it came in at 11:55 p.m. Police sent out a broadcast shortly after. NOFD was dispatched at 12:09. Police, they were dispatched at 12:15. EMS, they were dispatched at 12:18. Police got on scene at 12:20 a.m. Fire, they got on scene at 12:14 a.m. And EMS eventually arrived at 12:29 a.m. Here's the mother's latest call and a warning. It is hard to listen to, but it shows her fight to save her children.
New Orleans 911, what's the location of your emergency? Hi, 4911 America Street, New Orleans, Louisiana. He's going crazy. His name is Joseph. Can you please hurry? I'm at work. What's going on? He's screaming on the phone. I heard the kid screaming. He's screaming on the phone. Y'all have to just break through the door before anything happens, please. He said he's about to burn the house on fire. Can you just please hurry?
And today, when police were asked about their response time, they said it's still under investigation. EMS saying today it was an 11-minute response. Their goal is under 12 minutes to any high priority call. Back to you.